your question is, if Israel is attacked, will we help to defend Israel? If Israel is attacked, yes, we will help Israel defend itself. We've been clear about that from the very beginning. But again, we don't want to see that happen. What we want to see happen is things resolved in a diplomatic fashion.
Hello everybody, how are you? So there was another sample of American hypocrisy and warmongering on display today when the US Defence Secretary Lloyd Austin spoke in Manila. The man was asked by a reporter a specific question on whether the US will back Israel if a full-blown war breaks out between the rogue settler country and Hezbollah. The question was in the wake of the latest killing of 12 children by what is suspected to be an Israeli missile in Masjid al-Shams in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. But the way Austin replied clearly showed that the rogue regime of USA has already prepared a smokescreen to justify Israel's future conflict involving other nations in the region.
Secretary Austin, just to follow up a little bit on the question about Lebanon, the US defended Israel when Iran fired missiles at it in April. Are you prepared to similarly defend Israel if a full-scale war breaks out with Hezbollah in the north?
Thanks, Simon. You mentioned the actions that we took along with other allies in the region to help defend Israel in April. And I have to take this opportunity to applaud the tremendous work that we saw from our troops and also our allies that came together in a very short period of time and did absolutely magnificent work in my opinion. So your question is, if Israel is attacked, will we help to defend Israel? If Israel is attacked, yes, we will help Israel defend itself. We've been clear about that from the very beginning. But again, we don't want to see that happen. What we want to see happen is things resolved in a diplomatic fashion.
The reporter's question was on the US role if Israel attacks Lebanon. But what Austin said that US will back Israel if it's attacked by Hezbollah. It's clear that the US and Israel have decided to blame Hezbollah for the future military aggression by Israel, come what may. As I have said before, it's foolish to think that the US is a neutral stakeholder in the current conflict. The fact that rogue regime of Joe Biden has refused to condemn Israel even once, despite the slaughtering of tens of thousands of innocent and unarmed Palestinian babies, children, and women by Israeli terrorists, shows just how sick these Zionist Americans are. Examples are endless to prove the psychopathic conduct of American officials in the Biden administration. But I will mention two here. Remember the carnage caused by Israelis in Rafah in May when they killed 45 people in a refugee camp? Matthew Miller, the State Department spokesperson, had sensationally blamed shrapnel, which according to him had flown 1.7 kilometers to kill 45 innocent people.
You seem to be saying two things. One of them that the Israeli military hit 1.8 miles away.
0.7 kilometers.
Kilometers.
That is what they have said.
But another point you said that the civilians were 1.7 kilometers away from where they were supposed to be, which was
maybe I misspoke. I don't remember. But the point I was trying to make is the location of their strike, if you look at what the IDF has said publicly, was 1.7 kilometers away from the Al-Mawasi site where they have told civilians to go.
Was it the civilians' fault for being where they are?
No, that is not the point. That is not. I don't believe that's the point I've made. It's certainly not the point I intended. The point was the fire broke out in the Al-Mawasi camp where civilians have fled. The strike was 1.7 kilometers away from there. How a strike 1.7 kilometers away ignited a fire that spread to that camp and led to that horrific loss of life is something that needs to be investigated. The IDF has said that they're investigating, and we are pressing them for results.
Can I just ask you a specific question on that?
Over the weekend, it was reported that there was a U.S. official who said that Israel told the U.S. that it used the precision munition to hit the target, but that they believed it was shrapnel from the explosion that ignited a fuel tank nearby and started the fire. I am no military expert, but I don't understand how shrapnel could have flown 1.7 kilometers in order to ignite that fire.
I am not familiar with that conversation. All I can tell you is what they have said publicly, which is it might have been that there was a Hamas weapons depot located near the strike, and that exploded and that led to the fire. I don't know if that's true. I'm not sure if Israel knows that's true at this point. They've only conducted a preliminary investigation.
Another Zionist called John Kirby, who works in the White House, had admonished a reporter saying that America was not present in the region to verify every fact, and the reporter should instead direct his question to the IDF. That was also in the wake of that Rafah carnage.
There's still, I mean, you have the president saying that he doesn't want, Israel to target any population center. We are seeing, I know you said tanks are moving along the corridor, but we are seeing tanks in Rafah. We've now seen strikes continue to kill civilians, including children.
Yeah.
Just for, an average American who's watching their taxpayer dollars go to this, can you explain to them how this isn't a major military operation? Or just maybe it would help to explain what is a major ground operation when it comes to the Biden administration.
I thought I already did that, but I'm happy to do it again. Now, first of all, I am not the IDF spokesman, and this is not Tel Aviv. This is the White House press briefing room. And I am not, today or any other day, going to take it upon myself to speak to Israeli military operations, the planning, the intent, and the tactics that they're using. You should be asking Admiral Hagari that question. He's the IDF spokesman, not me. What I will tell you is that what we have seen is essentially, so far, what the Israelis said they were going to do. They were going to close down the crossing to shut off the revenue to Hamas that comes across that crossing, at least for a while.
However, when it came to determining the responsibility in the Golan Heights tragedy, Anthony Blinken and his minions didn't waste a second to declare that Hezbollah was behind this attack.
First, let me say that we are deeply saddened by the loss of life that we saw. There is no justification for terrorism, period. And every indication is that indeed the rockets were the rocket was from Hezbollah. We stand by Israel's right to defend its citizens from terrorist attacks.
The template is simple. Pass the buck to IDF when the victims of Israeli genocide are Palestinians, and push Israeli narrative when Netanyahu's bunch of terrorists are responsible for killing those these psychopaths call their own. However, what they do not realize is that the trick is increasingly getting predictive, and more people are not hesitant to call out American hypocrisy. God forbid, if there is a full-blown war in the Middle East, you know how it all started and who were actually responsible. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism.